When we design smiles for patients, whether it be for porcelain veneers, to improve smiles, crowns, bridges, or even dental implants, there are several factors that we have to consider. Of course, the first thing is what the patient wants and what they think is ideal for them. There's rarely a right or a wrong answer to smile design because beauty is very subjective. But there are guidelines that we have to follow. And I made this video to help illustrate some of the ways that we think about creating nice smiles for people. Most of the time when we're redesigning a smile, what the person is looking for is a more youthful and natural looking smile. Usually we see teeth that have been worn pretty flat over the years. The canine, the lateral incisors, and the central incisors are all about the same length. We associate this look with age and also a more masculine looking smile. So if we are creating a smile for an older man perhaps, we would use or design teeth that are more straight across and flatter. You notice the corners are very square. But for a younger person or for a female, we would want a more feminine looking smile with rounded corners. Now this is a natural smile. These are natural teeth on a young female, and what you do see is that the lateral incisor is quite a bit shorter than the central incisor. The canine teeth are rounded. The corners are also rounded, and this is a youthful and a nice smile for a young female. Now an example of that smile is this case, except that in this case the teeth are more straight across. The lateral incisors are a little bit shorter than the central incisors, but not a whole lot, yet the corners are rounded. So it does make it a more youthful looking smile. Now, in the next example, we actually go ahead and shorten the lateral incisors. So the lateral incisors are noticeably shorter than the central incisors, and that's an even more youthful appearance. Also, the centrals are dominant, which is a nice look, a more feminine smile as well for a female, although for a male too it would represent a more youthful smile. Now, taking it to the next level, these teeth are much shorter. The lateral incisors are much shorter than the central incisors. Also, these teeth are very, very rounded in the corners. This would be an appropriate look for a much younger person. Not to say an older person couldn't choose a smile like this, but naturally you'd see it in a younger person. Looking at the teeth individually and what makes a smile nice, natural, or more youthful are some of the things that you see here. There's some translucency along the edge of the incisors. There's also a little bit of what we call a halo, and again, these are natural teeth. Also, the teeth are not completely straight across on the edge. In fact, you see a little bit of what we call an incisal notch here on the tooth, and very often when we recreate smiles, we'll want to do that. Of course, it's something that the person is given a choice for. But if it is a natural smile that we're trying to achieve, little things like that can make a big difference. This is a case where we actually did that. You can see a little bit of a notch along the incisal edge, which is typical of the way teeth normally do look. Another consideration we think about is how the smile complements the face. Although there aren't hard and fast rules as far as the shape of the face goes, if we have a longer face, very often we'll avoid having dominant, longer central incisors because that only accentuates the length of the face. Where if somebody has a shorter, rounder face, longer, more dominant central incisors, may just add a dimension of length that complements the face very well. And again, these aren't hard and fast rules, but it is something that we give some thought to. And obviously there's a lot more that goes into making these decisions than what I've explained, but I hope that it's at least illustrated some of the ways that we think about smile design.